Merry Christmas and Happy New
Massive thank you to Garage Society. Thank you for always offering the venue. We love this place. It's amazing, especially on a sunny day like today. So they are catering to entrepreneurs, startups, fantastic co-working space. They're also hosting a huge amount of events, almost every single evening it seems. So have a look at their website and follow them on Facebook to see what they have going on with live music, etc. Redback Coffee, we've been partnering with them for several months now as well, and I think you'll all agree it's amazing. So actually Scotty is not here today because they're launching in Indonesia, in Jakarta, so they're in Jakarta right now. But they do wholesale coffee. If you have any other business needs for coffee, I would highly recommend them. We have a special giveaway today. Void Watches is also a sponsor in kind. So an amazing, beautiful watch by David Erickson is going to be handed out later on. So one lucky winner, which we will do at the end. And they also, Void Watches also have a pop-up shop right now at PMQ, and they're going to be offering 10% off to anyone from Creative Mornings who pops by their pop-up shop if you want to go have a look. Very good presents for yourself or thank you, Karishma, Cranberry Studio. So Karishma has also been almost the entire year, I think, now, for partnering for videography for us. She also does web design and video production and editing for some very reputable brands. Thank you, Stephanie. Where's Stephanie? Our amazing photographer, who's also been helping us for almost the entire year. And she does portraits, fashion, and documentary photography. And also a new partner, Audio Network, who's helping us with some music for our videos. So Audio Network are a production music library, and all of it is recorded live. So if you also are into advertising, TV, anything like that, they're worth getting in touch with. And Blonde Media is their contact here in Hong Kong. The global, so the headquarters have global sponsors. So FreshBooks is a fairly new one that just joined. So they support so that we can have a team in New York that helps roll everything out. And they have sent these books for you that have been on your chairs today. So hopefully that's a good read with a little popsicle bookmark of some sort. So basically they do accounting software for SMEs. If you'd like to get social, hashtag CreativeMornings is the global hashtag. Our Hong Kong chapter is hashtag CMHK, and then follow us at HongKong_CM. And then for this month, hashtag CM Time, and that will go on the global blog for anything that you post on there. So, we have the pleasure of, I have the pleasure of introducing Jeff, Anello, and Michal Garcia. So to give you a bit of background, our speaker for climate in March, Laurel Chor, so she runs Hong Kong Explorers Initiative. And she, amazing talk on climate. And right after that event, she said to me, you have to meet Michal and Jeff. So we got in touch earlier in the year, and we stayed in touch, and they've been attending Creative Mornings almost every single month, basically. So it's been fantastic getting to know them. And I was extremely excited to see they were voted Hong Kong's best band by HKELD. And then they were also voted Hong Kong's hottest new band by Boom Magazine. And then they've been involved in TED Talks. They did a TED Talk not long ago. They also just had kicked off Clock and Flap on the Friday. with an amazing performance, which I was there cheering on. So that was amazing for you guys and amazing to see. So Michael and Jeff, so Michael is originally from Texas, and Jeff is originally from New York. And they've always come into the room with so much energy and huge smiles. And really looking forward to exploring time with them today. So please, a huge welcome to Michael and Jeff, the Anello.
All right. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning.
When you came to Creative Mornings today, what did you expect to happen?
Maybe some networking.
Some music from the Anello, maybe?
Some amazing snacks or refreshments.
Insightful ideas.
A bit of social media, hanging out with people, meeting new people, having fun.
Fun. I like this idea. Who wants to have some fun? I said, who wants to have some fun? All right. When we say go, we want to invite you to...
Number one.
Number one. High five 3 people across the room
You might have to get up for
that
this.
you may not know.
Number two.
Number 2, we want you to take some photos or videos, at least 3 photos or videos with that person, and
Number 3.
post them to social media and hashtag CMHK, hashtag CMHK time,
And hashtag,
the Anello.
hashtag.
What did you expect? So, what did you expect from this day? We want to find out. We want you to post those videos and those photos to social media and tag the person that you're with. So, if you have any other relevant hashtags, we'd also appreciate that as well. But this is what we are asking to do. Are you game? Yeah. Are you game?
All right. And go.
Go. You know, when I was a child, growing up, I fully expected there to be hoverboards in 2015. Anybody else? Yeah. So, you can expect that I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. Back to the Future 2 actually is my favorite movie. And growing up, I saw that movie and I anticipated that 2015 would look somewhat similar to what they depicted in the movie. And because of that, I rollerbladed. I figured, why skateboard? You're on this wooden plank, you've got 4 wheels, it's kind of hard to adjust and move around. I kind of PK'd a lot. So I decided I'm going to rollerblade. And this was my way of hovering around the cityscapes and concretes that I could do in my neighborhood. And because of that, I figured, you know what? While I'm learning how to while I'm learning how to rollerblade, I'll just wait for the technology of the hoverboards to come out. So I waited. And I waited. And I waited for 2015. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Welcome to 2015! And we're still waiting.
Boo.
The technology hasn't been mass-produced enough to meet the expectations that I thought of when we would reach 2015. And I think, you know, as a child, it's okay to think that way, to live in the present and to expect something to happen in the future. But, you know, many adults also do the same thing. They live in the moment, but they don't plan and they don't prepare to make the future that they want to happen.
And I had a similar childhood experience. Really loved skating. I could skateboard though, a little bit of difference there. But I loved rollerblading. I was actually way better at it, grinding handrails, jumping down like massive massive gaps. It was a great time, but my head was really into role-playing games, aka RPGs, Legend of Zelda, all that kind of stuff. Chrono Trigger, great music, great games. Also played a lot of music. And at that time, I didn't think so much about the future. I just thought, well, in the future, I'm going to skate. I'm going to make music. When I grow up, I'm going to go to faraway lands on quests and maybe be with a magical princess. Michael! And maybe not too far from reality, here I am in Hong Kong. But I feel like as a human race, we really need to step up our game. As Jeff was saying, we need to really plan for the future, push for the future. It's been since the 60s that we were on the moon, and we still haven't, like human beings, made it to Mars and the outer solar system. I just really think it's about time.
So let's talk about time. Let's talk about the history of the Earth. The Earth was created about 4.5 billion years ago.
Billions and billions.
Our ancestors arose around 6 million years ago. Modern forms of humans developed around 200,000 years ago. Civilization as we know it only started about 6,000 years ago, and industrialization in the 1800s. You know, our humans that we are growing and evolving and changing has accomplished much within that time. We've also traveled to space, but
not too far.
We can't underestimate the impact that we've had on this Earth. So, I would like to share some interesting facts about our history.
Fact number 1.
Need some music, Mike.
Woohoo!
Fact number 1. Ice Age Britons used skulls of the dead as cups. Alright. Fact number 2. Ancient Egyptians smeared honey all over the servants to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Alright. Fact 2.5, ancient Egyptians also used slabs of stones as pillows.
Sounds like a really crickety morning.
Yeah, right. Alright, we're just getting started here. Okay, fact number 3. In medieval times, animals were put on trial and routinely sentenced to death.
What? Say that again?
In medieval times, animals were put on trial and routinely sentenced to death.
Like maybe Grumpy Cat, but Garfield and Fluffy?
If you did something wrong and you were an animal, you may be put on trial.
Alright, next.
Alright, fact number 4. Before becoming Pope, Pius II wrote a popular erotic book titled The Tale of Two Lovers.
Thanks. Fact number 5.
Fact number 5. Before the mid-19th century, dentures were commonly used from the teeth in the mouths of dead soldiers. Yeah.
Fact number 6.
Fact number 6. Albert Einstein, very brilliant man, creative man.
E equals MC squared.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Equation guy.
He was offered the role of Israel's second president in 1952.
But?
Well, he declined.
Well, maybe he's better at relativity than politics.
Relatively speaking, I agree with you.
But there would be much better funding for science.
I'm sure so, but who knows what would have happened in our future if he would have taken that position, right? Alright! And final fact, number 7. Just recently, China ended the one-child policy that left tens of thousands of baby girls abandoned each year. You know, we've evolved so much from the start of our human history until now, and many barbaric practices of the past are no longer used today. Fortunately, in some cases, right? But, you know, we can't truly know who we are now without learning from the past. So, let's think about where we are now, or where we may be in the future.
We are at a point in human history that's kind of at the most right before the most dramatic part of an exponential curve. Many people know this as Moore's law. Other people call this the law of accelerating returns. And after this point, projected in 2045 by Google's own Ray Kurzweil, machine intelligence is going to be equal and then surpass human intelligence, as well as their adaptability. And at the moment, now already, we have what are classified as cyborgs. People who may be, maybe they have a disability or they're missing a limb and they have been given a prosthetic limb. Other applications for similar sort of devices have people who are able-bodied, but they're able to wear different kinds of harnesses and mechanisms to give them superhuman strength and coordination, with a lot of applications for industry and things like really precise surgery that's just humanly impossible. So by the year 2100, the world may be completely unrecognizable. In fact, it's projected that most of our jobs will essentially be taken over by robots. A simultaneously depressing but amazing thought, because it means that the things that we're doing for our survival, just to get food on the table and to make sure that our economy is booming, those are going to be things of the past. They're going to be fully automated. A time of abundance.
Well, why talk about the future when the future is now? Michael, please, give me some music. Nobody's a Back to the Future fan? All right, let me turn this thing on. First, let me get my shoes going.
Nice.
All right. You need the shoes on before the hoverboard
Can be
hover.
activated.
All right, am I good?
I think you're good.
All right, I'm good. All right, here we go.
Drum roll,
Drum roll,
please.
everybody, drum roll. It doesn't work.
Boo.
It's just a prop. I mean, what did you expect, huh?
Hashtag, what did you expect?
All right.
That really brings us to the present. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were at Clockenflap performing, opened up the show, Hong Kong's largest music event in the history of the city. We're very happy to be a part of that. I was on stage. You can see I play keys, I play the DJ decks, I play trumpet, and sometimes I play some of them at the same time. DJ decks got their effects going, trumpet, I'm playing that along with something on piano, and I know that in about 15 seconds I need to be at the front of the stage so that I can rock out with my bandmate. We can kind of hype the audience, those sorts of things. And I have this thought in my head that's just, Michael, how is it physically possible that your brain can comprehend putting effects on the decks and playing trumpet and doing this, and then you're going to be over there in just a moment. And it's very usually pretty well practiced, so that's part of the answer. But I think in a performance space, but I find this every day, you get this sort of hyper awareness if you can sort of be in that moment. And sometimes it's just overwhelming, so you may space out for a little bit, but when you are hyper aware, that's how you're able to do all of those things together at the same time.
Yeah, I remember being at Clock and Flap at the beginning of the set, and I'm there performing, singing the songs, and I have the audience in front of me, and we're rocking out, having a really good time, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy this, and I'm going to move around on this massive stage, and as I was doing that, I decided, let me enjoy the sunset over this beautiful Hong Kong skyline, and just take in this moment, being on stage at Clock and Flap. And as that was happening, I kind of scanned down, and I saw Clock and Flappers going, somewhere else. And I was like, no, you should come here, hang out with us, party with us. So I tried to make eye contact with them. I even tried to get a couple people to clap along the way. And as I'm doing this, trying to gather as many people into whatever we're doing over here, I looked back at the audience who had been watching me perform this whole time, and here I am, still performing, with the mic in my hand, singing a song, hopefully on key, I don't know, I was not there in that moment, and I just realized, wow, this moment right now, as much as I've tried to enjoy the moment, there's so many different senses of reality going on. And there I was, performing at Clock and Flap with this massive crowd next to my bandmate and having a really awesome time. I guess what I've realized is that each moment can be magnified if you learn to live in it. So what we'd like to do now is invite you to a place where you don't expect. We've asked you all day, hashtag what do you expect? And what did you expect? Maybe you expected to have a really wonderful time today. Maybe you expected to learn something. But for right now, we'd like to take 30 seconds. You can keep your eyes open, you can keep it closed. But just take some time to not judge, not expect anything in the moment, and just be present with us right now. First, we want to thank Creative Mornings, Juliet, Scad, Redback, Soaked, all of these wonderful people who made this day possible. All of you, thank you so much for having us up here and being here with us today. We definitely appreciate it. What we want to do now is we want to, if you haven't yet already, take those photos, take those videos that we asked you to take earlier, and if you didn't post them on social media, do it now. Take those things. You can put them all in a little collage, you can put some heartsy faces if you want there, it doesn't matter. Just tag, hashtag CMHK, hashtag CMHK time, I don't have it up here, time, hashtag the Anello, what did you expect? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Instagram or Facebook if you post on there as well, and I'm going to use those hashtag ideas as the freestyle. So I'm using your suggestions for what happened today. And Michael, if you don't mind, entertain a little bit and I'll check out what's going on. It's okay, good morning today. I'm singing from Cranberry Studio.
engage. If you haven't, then you should. That's what we ask you to do. Hashtag CMHK. It's Friday morning, 8 o'clock, and start this morning. Jonas, Aspen, I'm seeing a picture with my friend Michael. Yeah, having a good time. It's alright, be funky. Yeah, you know what we do. Pierre Patterson, I like you too. Cause this is Creative Mornings. We're sitting here this morning. Don't expect anything from what you got. Your future's better than you planned, so make a stand. Oh, let's live in this moment. Future or past, it will last.
I want to say that you listen if we got to play. I know that the Anello posted a couple days ago, but if you didn't, then maybe you should know that it is social media and we are following you, cause we are doing like you do, and we are all the people living in the world. Can you hear it?
This is Creative Mornings. This is Creative Mornings. Stop living in the past. Look out and make it last. Our future's whatever we're looking for. You know that we have done Creative Mornings. And this is Creative Mornings. We're waiting for insightful ideas. So can you hear? And we can cheers about this beautiful morning we are sharing here.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful morning.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you guys ready to take some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So we probably gonna have time for about 3 or 4 questions. Anyone have anything they would like to ask Michael and Jeff? And please, if you can, wait till you have the microphone, because we're recording these as well. And say your name and what you do, perhaps. Okay? Anyone? Yes. Abraham? Sorry.
Hi, my name's Ibrahim. Just curious, how did you two meet?
Well, I've the whole time I've been in Hong Kong, been working in the music industry and performing a lot of music. And on one of the gigs I was already doing, Jeff was kind of an invited special guest to jam with the band. And then eventually, long story short, we started collaborating on this project very closely about a year ago. That's how we met.
Cool.
And it's been awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy I met this guy.
And the question? Yeah. Can we pass the mic over, please? Thank you.
Well, thank you for that performance. I just walked in on that, so I suppose that answers the question, what did I expect? But you were speaking about clock and fab, if I said it right, earlier, and you were talking about trying to engage the audience, and how do you plan that? Because you were saying that you're trying to measure the people's attention, looking in there, just trying to get them into it, but then how do you actually prepare or measure that?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The sets that we do mostly are somewhat rehearsed, depending on how much time we have and who the audience is that we're going to be presenting to. So obviously it's curated based on where we are. We wouldn't be doing this presentation at Clock and Flap, it wouldn't fly. But at Clock and Flap, you have your set, you have a small amount of time, and if you have certain things that are already in place in certain songs where you know this is the moment where people want to be engaged, then you can find ways to engage them, whether it's clapping their hands, whether it's put your hands up, they like to do that a lot. Or even just maybe there are times where you want them to engage where it's only eye contact and they're not actually dancing or jumping around, and so there are different times in the set where if you have time to plan that out and you've done enough practices with the person you're performing with, you can kind of figure out where you put those in the sets.
With Backstage Live closed this year, and there's Clock and Flap.
Actually is the development of the Clock and Flap Festival, and along with that, they've developed a ticketing platform known as Ticket Flap, which is actually empowering a lot of smaller events to be able to happen. So I don't think the answer is just one venue, but I have seen some solutions happen where whether the venue was the most amazing venue or it was an outdoor venue or it was a one-time thing, a lot more people are attending as a result of sort of creative community that has been built up, and then some actual, how would you say, like online ticketing and awareness of things. So a bit of PR as well.
I think it also takes the right amount of people that have passion enough to push it forward. I know that there's a lot of government restrictions on certain things, and Clock and Flap has year after year continued to try and push the festival even bigger and even better because the people want it that way and they have a passion to do it for the people, but still there's always going to be some sort of restrictions, and as long as someone is passionate enough and wants to push forth what they believe is best for, I guess, the community, society, the world, they can still do that. It's just a lot of work.
Great question, thank you.
And a lot of time, if we're being topical. Yeah, thank you.
Don't be shy.
Any other questions? Yep.
Hi, thank you so much for coming in today. And I guess just on a theme of time and being proactive about the future, how do you plan out your day or organize your day? Do you use certain apps? Do you have a certain routine or ritual that you do?
This is interesting. I've had a full-time job for the past 7 or 8 years living here in Hong Kong, and so my life has been very different for those years, but now I'm doing music full-time. So I don't want to take my days and wake up at whenever I want to wake up, which would be really nice. Don't get me wrong, I do that occasionally.
4 p.m.
20-25 minutes to focus on one thing, because as in the society that we live in right now, we want to focus on a million different things, but really, if you just focus on one thing for a short amount of time, you'd see how much more you actually get done by doing just that one thing.
And to answer the sort of second half of your question, what are actual apps you can use and download? I'm not paid by any apps to endorse them or anything, but I actually highly recommend using Headspace to just kind of maybe at the beginning of the day, be able to, in your head, sketch out your day. It's great. It's a meditative sort of app, Headspace. And then another one that I've started using, and I think Jeff uses a similar method that he alluded to, is actually the Pomodoro technique, which is incredibly simple. 25 minutes of you're actually working on a specific thing. I'm going to answer emails right now. I'm going to write this report now. And then take a 5-minute break. After every 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break. As simple as that is, focusing on that one thing at a time actually lets you do an incredible amount of things over the course of a week or a month. Thank you. What else?
There's one more if you have time for one more.
So there's this thing called the survival bias, where a lot of people imagine that they can...
I got stuff for that. I got a lot.
Okay, we'll give you 1 minute, go.
All right. I'm not familiar with the survival bias, but I remember reading an art blog a while back that was basically saying, if you cannot make some money with your art or figure out some sort of revenue stream, you cannot continue to do your art. So it is important that you stay true to what it is that you want to do, but that it actually makes the money, because otherwise it's just a hobby. So that's one big thing. You want to answer a little bit?
You have 30 more seconds if you're interested.
Oh, I have 30 more seconds. Survival bias. You say, oh, you're so lucky to have gotten into Clock and Flap, but we've met the people from Clock and Flap multiple times. We performed at different venues, probably takes around 8 to 10 contacts with someone in real life or via email, phone calls, for people to actually remember that you exist. Yeah, and that's very important. Don't be annoying, but do be persistent. Yeah.
For us, I know that this has been a long process for us to even get to this point. A lot of hard work, a lot of not many, some sleepless nights actually. But for us, it's really just been visualizing in just some creative session what could possibly be the awesomest thing we could ever do, and kind of taking that idea somewhere far into space and reality, and then kind of figuring out the necessary steps it takes to get there. And some people try and work on things that are just so above and beyond, and it's very difficult to achieve. So for us, we just make sure that we say, what's the simplest thing we can do? Do you know how many ideas we had for this particular talk? It's ridiculous. But we had like Google Docs of like 7 pages, but like we finally figured out, okay, this is what we can do realistically in this amount of time, and that would engage enough that we could remember to be good enough to do it. And hopefully we entertained well enough, but it takes that big idea, breaking it down to a small idea, and just finding step.
And just amazing to have met you through Creative Mornings. So just, I love that it all comes around. So just a few, well, we have some prizes to give away that Jeff and Michael have generously also donated. George, could you please help me?
All right.
So if you're the lucky winner, please come up as quickly as possible, and we'd like to get a quick snap if we can, Stephanie. And everyone should get as many photos with these guys as possible since they're going to be celebrities. Yeah, so.
All right.
Oh, close your eyes.
All right, you know.
Oh, yeah, no.